Hello, everybody. Welcome to another 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mike Fadum, also known as Ambassador Kel, and I am your community manager. And yes, Adam Weiler on YouTube, we are live. This is not pre-recorded, which means anything could happen.
Oh
Googly
boy.
boogly boogly. I'm joined by an amazingly fun and talented member of our team. You've met her before. You know her. You love her. It's Gianna Rockwell.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm excited to be back home for this one stream and then get in the car and drive to Comic Con tomorrow.
You're very
just,
dedicated.
just happened to work out that way. So the backstory on this, folks, is this stream was meant to happen basically right after the last season came out, but since we've moved to every other week streaming, um, stuff kept coming up. Like I had to announce ships, or I had to talk, or I had a chance to interview some people, and so I kept being like, Gianna, I'm so sorry. Can I push back one more session? And so now that I have tonight, technically I'm not at work. Supposed to be at work right now, but I was like, no, we're doing this stream. No more waiting. Uh,
You just
uh,
appear out of nowhere.
yeah. Trexpert noticed that you're not in an empty room this time.
Oh, that's right. I think when I was last on stream, which was like almost like a year ago, I
Yeah.
just moved. Yes, I
Yeah.
am not in an empty room anymore. I have an office.
Nice. Cool. Folks, just so you know, I may try to answer some stuff that's not related to environment art, but if I do, that'll be near the very end of the stream. We're going to talk about some Tholian stuff today. So your questions about when, well, first of all, let's go over the usual rules. The usual rules, first of all, one are we don't talk about upcoming content unless it's been announced. If you ask about it, I won't answer. Two, we don't answer questions that are phrased da 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 when. Get them in the chat now. I know you like to troll it every time I do it. I'm waiting. I dare you. Uh, and three, remember that people on the other side of the camera are people just like you, and be nice. Now, especially for today, if we have any questions for Gianna, remember that Gianna is a rocks and crates person. The environment artists, they do not do the characters or the ships, so your questions will not be answered at that time. Wahaha. Waha. Waha.
Only
All right.
rocks and crate knowledge here.
Yes, only box and crate. I like how chat or the subtitles are making it boxing crate.
Boxing crate, yeah.
Boxing crate. Which that brings me to our first piece of fan art. So Trexpert has been playing around a lot with demo record and specifically the ability to change the skins of one thing or another. So I give you a lockbox fighting a Genesis seed. Why? Because we can.
Now, can I ask, when do we get that?
Yes, you absolutely can. And Adam Sean said, solid snake frame race when. Right here, buddy. Got it.
There you
I've done it. Space Companion. Little Chumba says Nick had originally built the environment. The Enterprise J is an environment piece before it was playable. You're sort of right there, but it still doesn't mean Gianna can get you any ships. Alright, we're gonna move away from this lockbox. Skitchy47, the new parser is already in STO. Someone in chat can hopefully give you the commands to activate it. All right. John Davis sent us this excellent shot of his ship. It was in the Badlands that he took this shot, but he captioned it, I think, "Breaking the Frontier" or something like that.
Wow.
It's really cool. It's well done.
That is really cool.
And Mar Hawkman sent us this shot of. Okay, I admit I'm not really sure what's happening here. I know it's in the new Federation tutorial, and he's got pink electricity on him. Mark, if you're in
I
chat.
like the color contrast. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Green and pink, always a good combination. Oh, really, Duncan, Idaho? Okay, well then that's a problem, and I will talk to Keith about it. Christian, do you happen to be watching tonight? Hit me up in Teams if you are. And Mario Weekend, this is my favorite piece of fan art this week. Managed to transform into a cat while wearing a jetpack and fly around Ryza as a cat.
I have to try that now.
I know, right? I don't know what he did to make it happen, but oh, that's Tefera, not okay, sorry folks, that's not the new Borg tutorial at all. I thought it looked older, but
Yeah.
anywho. All right. So let's dive into talking a little bit about the Tholian update that you worked on. So this was probably what, 6 or 7 months ago at this point. Now that we've delayed the
Yeah.
stream a bunch.
It's been a bit, yeah, but yeah. Right? It came
uh,
out this spring.
yeah, yeah. So it's been a bit.
Okay. Phew.
Yeah, yeah. God, because it's already July. July. Already almost
Oh,
the end
yeah.
of July. Anyway, what was the first, like, how did the conversation start about the Tholian update? What you guys wanted to do with it? Sorry,
It was interesting.
folks. Just to check in. Somebody said something on Facebook. Sorry. This is not about any new mission. We are doing a retrospective of things you have already seen to talk about the creation process, so we can pull the window back a little bit on game development. Sorry. Please continue.
Can reveal the secrets for Tholians. Yeah, it was like I remember Scott, the our environment lead. He came to me and was saying that we're going to be doing Tholians next, and so the idea actually was originally just to build on top of the old Tholian kit and just add some new stuff that was needed for the mission. But the more we looked at it, the more we were like, we really just want to see what we can do to like as much as we can fit new stuff in here as possible. So, because the old stuff for the hallways was only existed, there's only a kit for TOS. So,
Oh
didn't
yeah.
have any stuff for the newer. Yeah. So, it was a lot of it was fun because for once, even though I'm not a concept artist, I'm not that great at drawing. I got to do a few like drawovers and sketches and a little bit of concepting of like, what would the Tholian interiors kind of look like and kind of like building upon what's there, but a little bit of a reimagining.
That's
So a
cool. So
blending of the two.
I've pulled up a couple of the images you sent me. I don't know if you had sent me these in any particular order, but you could talk to me
I
just
kind
a
of
little bit.
just dumped it all in there, didn't
Yeah.
I?
So can you tell me a little bit about what we're looking at?
Yeah, so oh boy. So I think if I'm seeing it right, the bottom image where I just like sketched a bunch of different things. That's when we first started and it's like we didn't know what the mission was like at first. So it was just kind of the playing around with the idea of like, how do Tholians sit in chairs or like where would they eat or how would they interact with different objects. So kind of like little different like just like thought exercising sketches or like just to get ideas flowing. And that's when I started like I in the mission there's this large spinner device, so there's a little bit of playing around what's that going to look like. A lot of the Tholians, the big idea with them was that there is no ceiling for Tholians. They can walk on all parts of the wall, so everything is basically a floor to them. So how does that kind of look in the environment? Kind of
Yeah,
like playing on that idea especially.
that's that's really neat. I hadn't thought about that because they're spiders. They can walk anywhere.
Yeah. Just
That's
because you're
cool.
on one plane, but I think in the mission they climb down from the ceiling to you, but from just another entrance in the floor, right?
That's awesome. So it's you really kind of sat down and gave some thought about how it would work for them biologically rather than just, hey, this looks cool.
Right, exactly. How, the big idea of like, if we could fit in environmental storytelling in there is, how does this environment work for them? Because you're on an alien ship this time. This isn't a Fed ship. So it has to be kind of catered to what their species would be using it.
I'm gonna make this image we're talking about right now a little bigger so that it's not quite blocked out by the captions.
Oh, this silly little image. This was funny because when I sent this around, because I'm not that great at drawing, but I drew a tiny little
This is
Tholian guy
clearly
just
a lie.
sinking in there.
Just so you know, this is clearly a lie. I'm looking at this and the use of perspective and stuff and other art words I kind of know, and the idea that you're bad at drawing is a lie.
All right, fair enough. I will say I am not a concept artist, but I had fun. The little image of like the Tholian just like sunk into whatever he is sitting
Yeah,
on was, yeah, that got passed along a lot. They thought it was pretty funny.
I mean that's a Tholian toilet, and you can't tell me
Yeah.
otherwise.
That's exactly. I didn't want to know if I should say it, but yes, that is exactly the comments I got. And you know what? Maybe that is what it is. You don't really see a lot of toilets in Star Trek, but
It's
it's a
true.
Tholian.
Yeah. All right, and then bringing this back, we've got this big ol' fun crystal here. What's this one all about?
That was like one of the very early concepts for what the big spinner device will look like. Right, the one right now in the mission is like has a lot of these like honeycomb shapes and it's spinning around with glass and whatnot. But kind of idea of like having these different like structures supported from different points on the floor, which is on all different sides of these big Tholian rooms, and kind of like this idea of like also creating cover and kind of blocking out, filling out the space a little bit more.
Yeah, cool. And then last but not least, we've got transform, fit to screen. This little, I assume this is a doorway?
Oh yeah, that was one of the. We didn't end up going with that, but that was one of the. Trying to think of like different designs and whatnot, and how to put the doorways, because a lot of the walls in the older kit were a little more flat, so kind of adding more shapes to the kit is what it really was trying to explore there.
Neat. So it's kind of like taking the original pieces as they were, and then just adding some like extra details now that we have the power.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool. Oh, okay. Apparently there has been a toilet in Star Trek. Kirk sat on one in the brig that one time.
That's true, he did, and I think it was in the movie,
Yeah.
but I could be remembering the wrong one.
All right. So we've got some really cool shape explorations here. Talk to me about what's going on in these images.
Right. So I think the one that's near my face that you have selected is that was like the door. I kind of came the doors I went a little crazy with when I was designing them. I like the idea of I think I got the idea when I was watching Lord of the Rings was that the little the dwarves when they have like the door that leads to their mountain. They have like a little like a peephole eye thing where they look through. I don't know what its exact term, but when he opened it, it didn't just slide. It like moved in different parts up and angles, and I was like, that's kind of cool. What if went a little bit crazier with that for the Tholian door? So the Tholian doors kind of have like these like layering of different angles that kind of just slide in different parts. So that's kind of what I was playing around with there.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last thing we have here that you sent me, and I'll make this one bigger, is this guy. You laugh when you see it,
Yeah.
so I'm sure it's got a good story.
No, it's just another one of like the early like thinking of like what this like the big spinner device of like that you shut off in the mission to shut down the Tholian's web. What would that look like? So kind of taking that image of what the webs look like in space and how to connect that to some kind of device, in the mission.
Neat. All right. Well, since we've looked at all the art and we've talked about it a little bit, why don't we take a look at it in game? Let me just quickly jump over and switch your screen sharing so you can get a little more detail on this. Stop
Hmm.
screen sharing. Start screen sharing. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is the finished set. First of all, I love this sort of heat wave effect that y'all have going on. That's really neat. It's
Yeah,
really
that was
cool.
in the that was in the, I believe, in the old mission as well, the one you go through in TOS. So we kind of wanted to keep that because the Tholian environment, when they're not in their own environment, they wear like the suits, right? I can't think of. I'm blanking right now on the name. Starts with an E, but they wear like those their environment
Environment
suits. So
suits, yeah.
because their actual environment is very hot, and that's why you have to wear the suit normally when you're in the mission.
Yeah. So are there any fun details about this starting room that you can tell us?
Yeah, so a lot of the rooms, I mean, there's two variants. There's the small room, and then there's the smaller rooms, and then there's the one big room that you go to at the end. And
So
these
this is a
rooms are kind of
small room?
this is a smaller Tholian room. You actually can't really make it that much smaller than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
but yeah, it's made of different parts, and so we tried to keep the idea of like, the Tholians a lot when I was designing their, I guess the design language for their environments was I liked the idea because they're like these crystalline creatures, and I was looking at the Tholian characters, and they have a lot of these angles and triangular shapes in their design, so I kind of wanted to represent that a little bit more in the environment.
nice. All right. Well, we're gonna take a. So you said there's two different types of rooms. Let's see if I can get us into a hallway here. But we also have these lovely hallways in between, which we're gonna drop into.
Yes, I believe you are in a monster closet right now.
Oh, well, that's a terrible place to be. I shouldn't be there. Oh
Because
no,
it's
we're
all dark.
seeing behind the curtain. Here we go.
It's
Here's a
just
lit
a
up
hallway
hallway.
piece, but darker.
Yeah, that's very
Spooky.
pretty. So how did you guys come up with this like lighting pattern here on the walls?
They have I liked how the old kit kind of had like this like stretch of like this glass or like crystal like material that's going through. So I'm gonna keep that and then, thinking, well, since it's all, floor to the Tholians, the top and the bottom I mean the top your ceiling to you is just the flipped around to the floor. It's the same thing to them. So putting lights on the ceiling like a normal hallway wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. So putting it in the middle of the wall to kind of show that it can be flipped either way.
Yeah, and that's neat how like the doors that can open have the lights lit up. That's one
Mhm.
of those. I love those little environment artist tricks.
Yeah, it was a lot of ideas like do we make like light pieces to put on the doors because the indicators it's the player needs to know whether or not which doors they can go through. So I believe Scott was the one who suggested that we make it glow and add that light to kind of like draw you towards it without having to put like a big like flashing light indicator that kind of breaks the design.
Yeah. To answer the question in chat, yep, we call them monster closets internally, um, and I believe the term originated with Doom 3. That's the first time I ever heard it. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know for sure. You might know better than me, Gianna.
I don't, I never thought about it till you mentioned it. I haven't heard what else it would be called other than monster closets, but I've been
Yeah,
in it for so long. It's just basically, areas where the enemy spawns from. But if you really look behind it, there's really nothing there because you don't go there. So what's the point of adding more stuff? Just
yeah,
implies that there's more rooms and hallways that they're coming out of, right?
yeah, exactly. I am attempting to fly to the big room, but of course the map is no help because I am a flowing camera and nothing else. Oh, I've left the map entirely. Oh no.
Well, now it's blue.
I've made a terrible mistake. Hold on. Let's just map move back to the map. Oh no.
I think if you're in, you can just do respawn at start, and it should bring you back.
Oh, thank God. Unless I don't have the access level for that. Okay, cool. We're gonna map move
True, I
somewhere
don't
else and come
know.
back. Map move. Uh, sure. Is there a monster closet for the boss? Usually, correct me if I'm wrong here, Gianna. Usually the monster closet is just for like spawning mobs and things like that. The boss
It
usually has their own
depends.
area. Oh,
For
really?
this mission, the boss does come from a monster closet, I guess. The door that the boss comes out of this one is on the wall right in front of you when you walk in the room. So I just basically extruded, oh, well, put Geo back there and what we have in engine called a depth fade plane, which is just, it makes it look like it fades to black, but there's really nothing back there. And the boss just basically jumps out of that hole and into the thing. So
Ah,
technically a little monster closet, but it's just his own little hole that he jumps through.
yeah. Disco Dragon, no current plans to make Threads accounts for any of our games. We do want to we want to keep an eye on uh all the new like social media options that are coming up and see which ones we like the best. But um, gonna let things settle for a minute before we decide on making official accounts anywhere. All right, this time I'm gonna stay inside the map and just follow the very nice lighting guides that you gave us.
It should be at the end of the hallway. Although some doors don't light up until
Okay,
they're.
that's a monster closet.
Yeah, yeah. If there's no lighting behind the door, then it's a monster closet. I guess that's
And
the
that is
easiest way to say
also
it.
a monster closet. Okay. And this is the way I came, I think?
Yeah, one of the doors in the hallway are locked. So,
Okay.
yeah, so you should
Nope.
be able to go through one of those. Not that one, so it's the other way.
This one, yay!
And then again, there's going to be another door in the hallway that's locked.
Okay. We'll find it. Or I'll go in circles. I should have asked you for coordinates to the big room before, like 2 hours
Yeah.
ago when you could have gotten those. Okay, this looks like a way I can go. Oh, here we is this the
And
big
go
room?
up. Yes, that's the big room.
All right, cool. Here we are. So tell us a little bit about. Oh, please stop shooting me, or my boss, or whoever you're shooting at. So tell us about the big honeycomb bowl up here.
Yes. So, in the mission, what you're doing is the Tholians constructed a web, and you need to be able to take it down. So, in here, and when the mission is on, basically there'll be lights coming in from the ceiling, coming down, and showing that this is kind of like the spinner device, the device that is making the web and that you need to shut down. So it's kind of like this idea of you go to these two side rooms where they have like I guess they're drawing the energy from crystals was kind of the idea, and you're gonna go in and turn off the twos to be able to turn off the big one. So it's coming. The idea is that it's taking the energy that's creating in those two rooms in this big middle room, and then it's using that to kind of construct the web.
Nice.
So
All
it's
right.
kind of like a big, literally a big ball where it's just meshing all that energy together.
Let's see. I had a question. There was someone on, I think maybe Facebook. I lost the name. Sorry, but um, someone wanted to know how long a map like this takes to make.
This took, even though this is a small map, this took a few months. It took all my time. I can't. When did I start working on this? I think I did start working on this in the beginning of the year, and then for like the 3 to 4 months is probably about three is how long it took from concepting to like the finish to polishing. Just because we were making something new and iteration takes a long time.
Yeah.
And it's just me. I usually on some missions I'm working with Nick or I'm working or there's Scott who's also who's helping us out. But this one was just all me, so
That's
it
amazing.
took
Is
a little
this
bit
your
longer.
first map that you did solo?
I think so. Yeah. Well,
That
not necessarily. When I started, I did technically. I guess this is my first like almost original map by myself because I did the oh, I'm blanking on Operation Wolf, the TFO where you
Oh
go into
yeah.
Mir ESD. I did that one on my own with
Oh nice.
John as well. But yeah,
That's really cool. That was a really neat update to that map.
yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, it was a little different process, but yeah.
All right. Cool. Is there any other fun details about this map or the process that we should know about? Did you have to do those little honeycomb pieces that are on the wall or the floor? Is that something you have to do individually, or is that?
Yeah, so that's actually maybe that's a fun thing. Those honeycomb pieces, in order to like, there's a lot of, you know, um, bashing together of kits that you do a lot in game design, and basically those honeycomb pieces are what I took from V'ger, and I scaled them down, slapped a different texture on them.
Nice. That's really cool. These are actually these are from the V'ger mission, right? Originally.
Yeah, originally I just changed, I just moved them around a little bit because they in V'ger they're all flat, and yeah.
Very cool. I love that we do this stuff. I love that we could have just, and maybe should have sometimes, but slapped like this into the old Tholian maps and called it a day. But I love that we spent the time and love to make this look as cool as it does.
Yeah. Well, the old Tholium maps, I don't know how much you've been able to use.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
Um,
also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was thinking, I heard a lot of people when this first came talk about the doors. There's actually two different types of doors in this map. The doors the enemies come through, kind of just slide at an angle, versus the doors you walk through as a player has all the different moving parts. So I don't know how
Nice.
easy that was to spot, but there are two different types of doors in this mission.
Brian Denham wants to know if you hide any kind of signature detail in your maps.
Oh, like signature detail. In what way? Like a calling card kind of thing,
Yeah,
or
or
just
like
like
an
I'm
Easter
hiding
egg or
things?
something like that.
Oh, I see. Like sometimes Nick writes silly things in the decals and
Yeah,
whatnot. Yeah.
yeah. Hat storage.
um, I'm trying to think. I feel I have in other missions. I have not. I don't think in this one because this one isn't as prop heavy, doesn't have a lot of decals. There's not a lot of things to hide in this one, and it's not as easy.
Nice. All right. So let's see. I had another question, like a real question from Twitch chat. Just trying to cut through the. Um, Bloodleaf WoW wants to know how much longer it takes to make a map like this, where you have to make the kit, versus a map like, say, if you were making a Klingon map where the kit already existed.
Hmm. Um, I feel well, the Klingon one, it's really the context of the mission is really what changes it because but I usually the ones where you're starting from scratch like this do take a little bit longer for
Yeah,
sure.
I figured. All
Sometimes you
right.
have to like, even if you're reusing a whole piece, you don't just want to see the same kit again. Sometimes we'll make a new room or a new prop or something to, you know, change it up a little bit.
Mark Sherwood wants to know what the biggest challenge is in putting these things together.
I think for me, for this particular mission, the biggest challenge was definitely in this like the early stage of when we were concepting it because there was a lot that we wanted to do and wanted to change, and I had a lot of like crazy ideas that I just didn't get to. A lot, I guess the biggest challenge is time when you're working on a
Mm.
live game like this, right? You have to get it out by a certain date. So it's kind of hard to like in that early stage to figure out, even though you like to put in and push out as much like ideas as you can, it's you don't always get to everything.
Um, George Girl wants to know what software do you use to initially 3D model this stuff before we import it into our engine?
I use Maya.
Okay,
I know Nick uses 3ds Max, and a lot of people on the team do also use that, but I particularly use Maya. That's
nice.
just what I've learned on. It's easier for me.
That's cool that you guys have the option.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
that's
nice.
neat. Yeah. Sup, Lyndon? How you doing? Um, Folks asking about bridges. Gianna does not make those decisions. The Federation and Klingon bridges you've been asking for, I will keep pushing on. Don't worry. Let's see. Admiral Sean wants to know what type of map in the Star Trek universe would you want to make that you haven't had a chance to work on yet?
Ooh, that's a fun question. What type of map would I want to make? I gotta think of something specifically, but I do like maps I've learned like this. I mean, working on the Fed and Klingon stuff is fun, but I like maps like this where, the Tholians, even though it's like a species or characters that have existed since TOS, we did not know anything about what the inside of their ship looked like. So this was kind of fun to come up with something new and kind of like theorize about this. I do like working on, I think, um, maybe so much more interiors that of different like alien spaceships or like stations would be kind of fun.
Nice. Trexpert wants to know if you watched the Tholian Web and Inner Mirror Darkly Part 1 and 2, basically the episodes of Tholians period on Star Trek. If you watched those for inspiration while you were making this.
Yes, definitely. Watch those. I took screenshots from them. I have many pictures of Tholians now.
just a just a folder of Tholians. Do not open.
They didn't show up much. Well, especially in the
Yeah.
TOS one. Yeah, you don't see
Yeah.
them that much.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, cool. Well, Gianna, thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna
Yeah, thank
switch
you.
over to a general. Asumuwa wants to know what kind of pets you have.
What kind of pets do I have?
Mm-hmm.
I want pets of my own, but my landlord doesn't let me. I do.
No.
I know. I'm very upset. Next location, definitely. I think I'll get a dog, but I do live with because they said we have the max number. So I have housemates, and she has a dog and a cat. So I just steal those.
That's good. That's great. Fight the power.
Exactly.
uh, Someone said, "Eat your landlord." Now, legally, we can't recommend that.
I'm
uh,
not admitting to anything.
yeah. Zobaraz wants to know if you have only done interiors so far, or have you done any space stuff?
I have done some space maps. I don't do a whole lot of space maps, but I have done some. Some that like I don't think has ever been like really shared that just like shadows sneaked out there. like when I first started, I did a bunch of space maps to like kind of get used to the engine. So there have been some very old patrol maps that I have touched up, and some of them
Nice.
TFO, some of them you've seen, like the Azure Nebula, the Vault. I think I fixed this like the Sky file in that one. So yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. I love finding out the stuff people did in those first couple of weeks when they're like, so we don't have anything for you yet. Do stuff.
Yeah, basically, I fixed a lot of space maps that I don't even remember the names of what systems they are. I just know they're like really old patrol maps. I'll have to go back and find them.
Nice. All right. Well, folks, we're open to some general Q&A questions, keeping in mind that they have to be things I can answer or Gianna can answer, I guess, but most either way. Um, and fire away. Brian Denham, I know the IDW comic was referenced for Bright Eyes because Bright Eyes is a character from that comic. Gianna, again, rocks and crates, not characters, but
But no, I believe that is correct. That is what I
yeah,
heard from our writer Paul, I think.
yeah, yeah. Ethan Long, I am working on getting some codes for you. Sorry for the delay. After the summer event, will the next episode launch? I believe there's another event before that. Probably possibly a red alert and another event, but I don't know for sure. I have to look at the calendar. Blackwing Haseo, the flagship celebration, is coming to console in the next couple of weeks. Let's see. Let's see. Playable Tholians! Noah Berryman says. That's what people sound like when they use more than one punctuation mark. Like,
I
just,
think
just
so too.
use one.
Yeah.
Just use one. It's okay. You don't need to use more than one. You don't need to sound crazy. Uh, playable Tholians, like other playable non-humanoid races, is something we would love to do. Making it play like your captain playable characters is probably impossible because we'd have to develop a whole new suite of animations for a whole new skeleton, and that's just the team doesn't have the time for that. Boffs is another question entirely. We would have to create something where you could get, like, say, a Tholian bridge officer who couldn't learn the abilities that bridge officers have, but would only have a set of abilities that we have animations for. We've talked about it a couple of times, but it hasn't gotten any further than talks.
I believe it's the same problem of animations, not the same skeleton or rig.
Yeah, exactly, because bridge officers have a bunch of animations they do that.
I think they all share one thing, which is already a challenge for
Yeah,
the animator.
yeah. Let's see. Ambassador Kale, bridge officer. Yeah, absolutely. The next time you get a human bridge officer, you can just make me. We don't need to make that special. Zoberaz wants to know how long you've been at Cryptic Studios.
Oh, geez. Math. I joined the start of 2021, so it has been over 2 years.
Um, Ethan Long says, "Can you say woo, wave your hands?" As if the summer event dance instructor, I assume.
I really, really like the dance coordinator from the summer event,
Yeah.
and I it would be like ingrained in my brain the way they say it, where it's just like do the snake, wave your hands.
So I don't know if you know this. Originally, they went back and they needed to record some new dialogue, so they had to replace the
Yes,
voice, unfortunately. But originally, it was Maria, a former producer of the game, who did that voice, and then
the
they
new one is great
the new
too.
one is great. Oh, it's awesome. Let's see. Um, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Junzer Redshift. I'm going to assume it's Junzer. Uh, Limited time vanity shields are always a possibility. We don't have any planned right now, but we did have some plans for bringing the pink vanity shield back. I think those are on the table right now because of reasons. Um, yeah. Um, okay, that's a bug report, so I will write that down later. Marked Chief, I don't want to answer any questions on the Maelstrom, specifically because while I've talked to Jonathan a few times about it, I don't have Jonathan's brain for it, and I don't want to say anything that would be taken as anything. a promise, a denial, anything. I just don't want to get in that kind of trouble. Let's see. Trexpert wants to know what your favorite ship is in STO.
My favorite ship? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm really bad with names, so I'm going to try to describe the name of the ship. The ship that I am using right now, and I haven't tried many ships, so I could have new favorites out there I've not discovered, but the ship that like I've been using, despite maybe it doesn't have the best loadout, was it's a Mars class. It kind of
Okay.
looks like a diamond, and it has like the two arms suspended from it. And I just like that when you double tap, it just jumps really far ahead.
Oh
That's
yeah, the
currently
Mars
my
the Mars
favorite ship.
pilot escort. Yeah.
There
Yeah,
you
you
go. That's the
already knew
name.
the
Yeah.
name.
I just know it was a Mars class, and I
that's
didn't know
that's
beyond.
that's all you needed to know. You're good. Let's see. Ship charades, go. David Mitchell said, yeah.
Oh no.
One word. It's in Klingon. Good luck. uh, let's see. Are the Crossfield and sticks going to come to the Zen 4 store for purchase? I think the sticks already is as part of the Terran bundle, this year's Terran bundle. Will there be new vanity shields? Undoubtedly. We almost always do a new vanity shield with a new lockbox ship, or I think lockbox ship specifically. Um, uh, are there are there plans to update older content, older environment content to make it fit in line with modern standards? So this person specifically calling out Defera and Dyson Sphere Ground. I think I know the answer, but I will let you answer that if you want, Gianna, or I can take it if you want.
It depends on if it depends. So like for the Tholian stuff, I can't replace the old stuff. The old stuff is for TOS. That's very time specific. Um, if we are fixing up new things for a newer mission, like if we're expanding on the kit, it will most likely yes be updated for the older stuff. That is definitely a big push. I think when I did change up some made new geo for ESD. That's when I went back and we opened up the floor to Shellbay and stuff. So we very much do try if we make new things to bring it back to the older stuff.
Nice. John Harrington, emergency medical Zachary Quinto is still in the game. You can still hear him. Let's see. The Trexpert wants to know what games do you play outside of STO, and what are you looking forward to?
Currently, well, I like to play a lot of um I play a lot of narrative driven games, but I think or maybe I'm just playing a lot of more cozier games like I don't know. You have games that let me build things are really dangerous. I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom right now,
Oh
right? Because it
God,
came out
yeah,
not too long. Yeah, and they let me build things, and since I build things for my job anyways, I'm building the most convoluted stuff. And then watching my friend play, and she's like, "I'm just gonna ride my horse." I'm like, "But what about my mecha car?" So.
you should teach me your ways. I want to build a mech. Actually, the thing that I can't find is the freaking construct heads that I need to make the turrets to make a mech. But
uh, yeah.
uh, yeah. All right. So D Hunter Wallen, there is a Beverly Crusher Terran Boff and a Beverly Crusher Prime Boff. And yeah. Um, ANW. I don't know what that stands for. Um, Sirad Miragor. Sorry about butchering that. Um, Sometimes assets can be imported from, say, Neverwinter to Star Trek, but not always, and it's more complicated than it sounds. Do you know anything about that, Gianna?
Yeah, I feel like the only instance I've seen it as is when we were doing the Halloween event. I feel like we got some assets from Neverwinter then.
Yeah, I think that's
But
right.
yeah, it kind of depends on, if, the state of the asset and whether or not how easy it is to,
Yeah,
because, maybe sometimes the way teams do things with like setting up pivots and whatnot, or the scale. I don't know so much of how Neverwinter does things, so I can't really say.
yeah,
But I know for the Halloween event we did get some Neverwinter assets.
yeah. All right. Um, Hold on, I lost it. Where did it go? I wanted to answer that question. No, come back question. I wanted to call the person out. Okay. Whale went away. No, this is good. The very super entertaining stream. Let's see. Vulcorian, I don't know about the investigations into how the SAG strike might affect us. The people Hutch Fire Up are working on that right now. Um, if the strike is still going the next time we need to record, I imagine it would be an issue, but I don't know for sure. Because we're a video game, and technically that means we're not being struck against based on the latest guidelines from SAG that I read, but I don't know for sure. There we go. Voxus1 says, so with Prodigy in trouble, is getting the Protostar still on the table? Yes.
Hmm.
It's on the table. That's what I wanted to answer. Let's see. Any chance of some new music? We get new music a lot during new updates. We have a composer who writes new stuff for us all the time. But we do reuse some stuff there too. Any word on Strange New Worlds uniforms? No, it's one of the things that I request a lot, but not necessarily something that we will be throwing everybody's way. I think we had the composer for STO on the stream a couple months ago, or God, what is time? It could have been 6 months to a year ago. Esumiwa. So look back for that one. All right. I am looking at the I'm looking at the chat, and we're getting into some the questions that generally mean it's time for me to end the stream. But uh, but I love you all, and I am gonna find us someone to raid. Gianna, you got any good jokes to tell them while I'm finding someone to raid?
I wish I had.
Every time I try to put a game developer on the spot and have them tell a joke, nobody has a joke ready. I need to get Ryan on the stream.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ryan would has like a whole what is he called? Like it's the database. He has a whole
Yeah.
thing, a list of ready to go at all times.
Oh God. Okay.
He didn't tell me beforehand. I didn't come prepared. What are jokes?
Who am human I words? Okay. This sounds fun. Let's see. Yeah, why not? For guys doing a melee run, that sounds fun. I guess, Lord Arthas Frost, I guess the Shrike could be considered a Dominion or Jem'Hadar ship? I don't know. Hard to say. All right. Well, the raid is getting ready, so I will say thank you everybody for tuning in. Oh, and if you came because of the in-game message, let me know how that worked. I'm hoping it's helpful to reminding people of these streams. But until next time, bye-bye everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We'll see you soon. Bye.
And thank you.
Bye. Bye. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Gianna. You were awesome.
Thanks so
Okay.
much for having me. It's fun.
Yeah.